Census 2026. My 5 minutes of fame for week 30 of 2026. I want to share with you my Somali community in Melbourne and elsewhere about something called Census Tirokop. So more on that, read below, and I will explain why the census is important. But the focus really this week is Somali community in Australia. We're having Census Tirokop on 11th of August 2026. I'm sure you have received this letter in the mail last week or sometime maybe this week, and it's about the census 2026, 11 August. And if you look at the other side, you'll see a lot of other languages. I'm just showing you this so that my Somali community leaders will do better next time. We can see Somali language in there as well. In any case, the issue I want to talk about this week, 30, as I said, is about the census Tirokop in the Somali language. Now, why do governments do census? That's a philosophical question. I guess it's a very important question. But the bottom line is, for governments to allocate resources, they have to know where people are, where industries are, where farms are, and so on. So that's perhaps one of the main reasons for censuses. Stock check, to know where everyone is and what resources go where and so on. So it's for planning purposes, but also for other social and political reasons as well. So why am I spending my 5 minutes of fame for week 30 on census? For the following reason. So what's my interest in this? I looked at a study did by La Trobe some time ago using the previous census, the one before that in fact, and I used the 2021 I think, and I found some interesting findings about the Somali students who graduate and then hit the labor market and the issues they face. And it was through that study that literally encouraged me to do this. So that study by Banyula local council, I think, and La Trobe, which I mentioned earlier, motivated me to say a few things about the census and why is it important. So one item that was really interesting that I noticed in that study was the census shows, and you can double check if you're interested in this. The census shows that Generation 1, my generation and earlier, I guess, actually did better than Generation 2. This is the Somali community, and that's why the census data is important and what we can learn from it. The other reason I'm doing this episode of my 5 minutes of fame is to inform the Somali community the importance of the census. It's by doing the census that government authorities can actually figure out how many Somalis are and where they are. And why is that important? The footnote of my post explains more, but in summary, even if you look at the letter that was sent to everyone in Australia, at the backside there are languages that show community language. Somali is not one of them. And by being in the census in the correct number, that means we actually shown as how many Somalis are in Australia, that can also then influence some of the decisions of the government in terms of resource allocations and so on, in terms of schools, libraries, hospitals, and so on. And that's really the reason I'm highlighting the advantage of doing the census, and I hope 11 August or even before, most of our Somali community, all of us, will do the census. It's the right thing to do. It's one of the responsibilities as a citizen we have to discharge is to do the right thing, voting, doing the census, and so on. And finally, the other reason I want to mention is it actually helps even our Somali researchers, our young people who are doing academic work, to actually know the real figures, not only the Somalis, but also from which countries they come from. Because as I mentioned, some of us come from either Djibouti, Ethiopia, Kenya, or other countries, but still we're all Somalis. So that is important to mention. If the language spoken at home is Somali, do the right thing and tick that box so that we get the correct figures. So, Mohammed, I salute you all. Take care. Let's do the census. It's the right thing to do.